I want to talk about how the Gangstalking program controls the population to do what they want, when they want, to whoever they want. Also, who to talk to, who not to talk to. This will also explain why people, friends and family, tend to turn their backs on TIs, including their own children in some cases, but just in general, why the TI are left with no support and are often alone and destitute. Okay, so what I believe we are looking at here is a rogue hijacked recruitment system, and this recruitment system is based on molecular nanotechnology and synthetic telepathy.
But some governments and corporations, for the first time in history, have the power to basically hack human beings. There is a lot of talk about hacking computers, hacking smartphones, hacking bank accounts, but the big story of our era is the ability to hack human beings. And by this I mean that if you have enough data and you have enough computing power, you can understand people better than they understand themselves, and then you can manipulate them in ways which were previously impossible.
Okay, so real quick, I find it interesting he mentioned about big corporations because we already know what the government is up to, but most people often overlook that these business corporations, these stores that we go to, are also involved in mind controlling the population. If you are familiar with the movie Demolition Man, John Spartan and Lennon's Huxley finds out the truth behind the Simon Phoenix program. They found out his program was set on murder, death, kill. Is they implying that our program can be switched on and off to good or bad? The Simon Phoenix program is behavior modification, something similar to what a TI may experience. So in Demolition, you got the word demo. Have you ever played a demo before? And demo is short for demonstration. When you look at the program, it's technically a series of demonstrations when you think about it. I believe the program run personalized demos that can be bought, sold, and beta tested, and we are the guinea pig for use of these demonstrations, which are the various of tactics that we see that are being implemented via signals using satellite and 5G to each and every citizen that is within your vicinity that has the nanotechnology inside them.
Nanoscopic probes.
See, nanocells are real small. 1,000 times smaller than these dust particulates. You inhale it, they go to work replicating, spreading like a virus, multiplying in exponentials. 6 months' time, I could have 100 million people converted.
You see, with the push of a button, my probes will destroy your friends from the inside out.
And what is the capability to kill someone from the inside out? Directed energy weapons.
Robin! I gave you an order. If you won't attack, my probes will.
They are literally being microwaved from the inside. And this is what happens to people who don't comply, people who don't participate, to their friends and family, their children, their pets, everyone at your job, in your neighborhood, who you live with. They will subject them to intense torture, even worse than the TI, sometimes even outright murder. Because when it comes to the average person, they are not informed, don't have a clue what is happening, nor a chance to combat the program, especially if they have a family they care about. A lot of them just turn a blind eye and do as they told. They live in a constant state of confusion and fear for their life, and they also feel anger and resentment towards the target because they feel as if you subjected them to this, that it's because of you that got them caught up in your problems. So now you experience all types of passive aggressive behavior, harassment, and intimidation. Because they are being held hostage and can no longer live a normal life themselves, they will always have someone looking over them, telling them what to do for as long as you are around. And this is where the hate comes from, because they're reminded that they aren't free themselves.
I'm wired too. I replaced 98% of my own noodle with nanotissue years ago. But mine's different. It's built to send, to transmit, whereas every other nanocell that I put out there, including the ones in your head cable, designed to receive. I think it, and you do it.
The gangstalkers are receiving instructions via synthetic telepathy, and when they don't follow said instructions, then they get the shocks and social humiliation.
This isn't about your friends, Robin. It's about you. It's always been about you.
What?
Sending trouble your way, leaving cryptic clues for you to unravel.
Now, with the use of nanotechnology, researchers say that they have found a way to smuggle drug-carrying nanoparticles past the body's immune system by camouflaging them to look like cell fragments found in human blood. They can also converge your cells to control an obstruction of blood flow in the artery to induce heart attacks and stroke. One of the main applications for such a technology for intelligence agencies would be brain-computer and brain-to-brain interfaces. Surely they'd love to look into the brain of an enemy agent to see what they know and think, as well as manipulate their brain to make them believe and pass on disinformation. Similarly, they'd love to look inside their own agents' brains to see if they're still loyal and or patriotic, and if necessary, manipulate their brain to make them more loyal, patriotic, or controllable. Surely they'd love to be able to wipe or manipulate people's memories so they can cover up their secrets. Brain-to-brain interfaces would also provide a great invisible way to communicate and coordinate operations, as well as a way to manipulate targets or crowds. One classic trick to control people is to get them addicted to heroin or another drug and withhold this drug unless they do what you want. That's how a pimp controls his crack whores. If you can send signals into someone's brain, you can achieve the same addictive effect without the drugs.
He worked out a new way to, in effect, ask animals how they felt.
This is a device which trains the animal to turn on the stimulus for himself. Here you notice the animal wandering toward the pedal. When he first touches it, he gets no stimulation. It's not connected yet. Then, one time he touches the pedal, it does turn on the stimulation. You can see the lights go on.
Now, the interesting thing about the old stimulation, the rewarding stimulation, was the strength of it. It was somewhat different than rewarding stimulation for food and water in that there was no satiation. Animals would continue for hours and hours and didn't seem to satiate. They didn't feel full. They would just keep doing it for long, long periods of time. They would do it to exhaustion.
Now, I will electrify the grid. The animal must cross an area that gives a very painful shock to the feet in order to get to the pedal and stimulate the brain.
And a rat wanting brain stimulation would brave a shock stronger than even a starving rat would brave to get food.
So yeah, they've been using brain stimulation, or reward signals as I like to call them, to influence and control people's behavior.